Alec
Yeah.
Zirkenbach.
Yeah,
Did I say it right?
that's correct.
Very
Yeah,
good.
you got it.
The director of the Adaptive Training Academy.
Yes.
Thanks for being here,
Yeah,
man.
appreciate it. Thanks.
So here's how this is going to go. I got a prepared question for you.
Okay.
Then we're going to do the fishbowl of content.
All right.
And then we'll just chat about what brings you here and kind of what you're going to be chatting about.
Nice.
All right.
Appreciate it.
So you get to judge my prepping abilities here. So you've been instrumental in shaping the adaptive training environment in the functional fitness community. What do you think it would take for adaptive coaching to become as commonplace in affiliates as, say, something like scaling or on-ramping?
Yeah.
What would it take to get there?
Well, that's the mission for Adaptive Training Academy.
Perfect.
100%. So we our mission is to make it so that people with disabilities can go train anywhere, right? So any gym, if you're talking about specifically the CrossFit community, that anybody with a disability can come train in any class. It doesn't have to be a special coach, special class. They could go do any class if they want to do classes or go into any gym. There's so many barriers to entry for people with disabilities. That's a great question. What would it take for it to be commonplace? One is education. So that's what we do, is we provide education so that trainers and staff are more aware of people with disabilities. They understand language, they understand the culture around disability, but then they actually have the principles and methods to be able to train people with disabilities safely and effectively. So that education is very important. The CrossFit gym is great for people with disabilities. It's probably the best place for them to train because you're going to be training functional movements, has best transference to real world fitness or capacity.
Right.
Activities of daily living is more a clinical saying for it, but they're going to train functional movements. They get typically a good education in a CrossFit gym. Most CrossFit gyms apply some type of foundations program. They teach people how to move properly, which you don't typically get in other gym settings. And then the inclusiveness of the culture. I mean, not just the culture, the community, right? Community is so important for everybody, but especially for somebody who has a disability that may feel like they're a minority, they may not feel like they're always welcome, or they may not be represented in the gym. Having a good supportive community is so important. So we need to help gyms in all those capacities. Their trainers need to be educated and ready to train safely and effectively, have good principles and methods to train people with disabilities. But we really need to just see more representation in gyms. So one takeaway that gyms could do better of is that once you do have somebody with a disability in your gym, show off their success in a genuine way. You know, include them in your social media, on your website. If you have somebody on staff, show that off, right? Don't make it into like this disability porn type of thing where you're celebrating everyday activities as some huge major success. But if you do it in a genuine way, representation really does matter, and in any minority community, right? So, you know, if you were a Harley Davidson biker and you're driving down the highway, like you want to go to a biker bar, like you're going to go to somewhere else where you see other people like you, they get you, they want to talk about motorcycles and leather and patches and whatever else. People with disabilities want to be able to see that they're represented in the spaces that they want to participate in. And so it's so important for them to be in there. And I preach this to gyms all the time, but one of the reasons why gyms may not already have people with disabilities in their gym is because they don't have somebody with a disability in their gym.
Right.
And it sounds like a really dumb thing to say, but when you think about it, if you don't have somebody with a disability in your gym, other people with disabilities aren't going to see themselves represented in that space. They're not going to know, is this a place that I can go?
Right.
Do they know how to train me? Right? Can I go train there? I just see a bunch of sweaty people, their shirts off, right? Running, jumping, handstand push-ups, flying around these, pull-up bars. They're not going to know that, oh, I'm in a wheelchair. Like I can't do anything that they're doing. So representation really matters. Education, representation, and then continuing this thought that CrossFit gyms are inclusive. We already think we're inclusive. Let's continue to use that in superpower we have built into the CrossFit community, but let's take some actionable steps to get out there. Gym owners can reach out to local organizations, whether it be a wheelchair basketball team, some kind of recreational therapy program like a canoeing program in their area, or the VA hospitals that are probably going to have people with disabilities. Take actionable steps to try to create some programs or work with other organizations to start getting people in your gym, and then it just starts to snowball, right? So it's like they get represented, more people will come, and then really those gyms can be an outlier compared to the other affiliates in their area. If you can own the space of being like, hey, we're here to represent and train people with disabilities, you could be that space where everybody comes to you for those resources. So it's not just a good thing to do, not just the right thing to do. It's also a great business decision to include the 25% of Americans that have a disability that have higher barriers to entry and find a way to reduce those barriers for them to join.
I love that. It sounds to me like you're kind of envisioning a future where like it's not some specialty or niche thing, but rather it's just a part of the standard tool belt that every coach, every owner just already has and is accustomed to using.
I think for a wide swath of the disability population, that's what we envision. They can go to any class. It's not like if you're the coach and you only coach 5:30 a.m. and you're the disability trainer, you're the one that works with adaptive athletes. We don't want to make it so those people have to go to the 5:30 a.m. class.
Right.
There are a lot of people with disabilities that need more specialized training. Like they have sensory sensitivities, people with autism. They may need a special time to work out because of other social interactions or sensitivities to noise and light or whatever it may be. So you can use some of the dead time in your space. So like mid-morning, afternoons when you don't have classes, those times could be built around special programs. So we'd love to see anybody join any class, anytime, train whenever they want. But there's opportunity to build special programs in some of the downtimes in gyms as well.
And then you have those data points for other athletes with disabilities to see on social media, wherever you're sharing content.
100%.
I see some evidence that this is a gym that is working with people who have disabilities and are capable of also now working with me. So,
and it makes the coaches better coaches, right?
Sure.
Like working with healthy people who don't have disabilities, who train regularly, who do all their mobility, who are the nutrition. Those people are easy to train. Right. It's the people that have an injury or an impairment, and you have to be creative in how to, you're doing back squats and you have somebody in a wheelchair in your class. Like, what are you going to do for them? Right. It makes you a better coach when you have to think more deeply about the stimulus of what you're trying to apply to everybody in your class so that you can apply to make sure everybody in that class gets the same dose of stimulus that you're intending for their abilities, psychological and physiological tolerances.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love the message.
Yeah.
Well, the time has come.
Okay.
Alec.
Random question.
Question of content.
Where do these come from?
I made them.
Okay.
I made them.
All right. Cool.
Can you read my writing?
Yep. What's a leadership mistake you've made, and what did you do? What did it teach you? A leadership mistake that I've made. I think one of the biggest things I've learned as a leader is to try to use people's strengths. Find out what somebody on your team, staff, who you're working with, whatever their strengths are, let's utilize what their strengths are. You can definitely help people grow in their weakness areas, but you can't stick, a square peg in a round hole. You can't make somebody do something that they're not going to be naturally good at. And it really is, let's find what people are good at. Let's let them be good at that in your staff. And I think early on, I wanted everybody to do everything, or I wanted certain people to do things that they weren't capable of doing, and I couldn't understand why they couldn't do them. And then I realized, I'm really good at being a manager. I'm really good at taking care of things. I love spreadsheets and things like that. I don't like doing things like this and speaking in front of people, but there are other people on my staff they're like the lead singer of the band. So let the lead singer be the lead singer. I'll be the band manager. I'll happily be behind the scenes, and I'll let them and I'll empower them and show them off, be their champion so that they can do their job and do it even better than I could try to do. So I think that's the biggest thing, is try to find what people are good at and empower them to do that. Continue to let them grow in other areas, but find their strengths and really use those strengths.
It was funny you say that. This is totally unintentional, but we were just talking with another affiliate owner, Adam from ATR, and we kind of had a similar conversation. Have you ever read the book, The E-Myth?
100%.
It kind of sounds like that, right? Like
I've read that, the revisited version too, and it's like, it makes so much sense. Find
your archetype and just be willing to invest in that, and don't worry so much about the things that maybe you don't have those natural proclivities toward.
That's, I think, this may not be necessarily leadership, but management of your business. That's the other thing I've learned is, I think gym owners, especially CrossFit owners, they are capable. They think they can do everything, and you probably can do everything. Like, yes, you can mop the floor and you can order paper towels and you can do the programming and staffing and payroll and accounting, you can do it all. You can, but could you pay somebody to do something what they're really good at to do it so that you can spend more time on other things that will make your business better. Right. So outsource what you can and try to simplify what you do. So the things that you want to do or you love to do in the business.
I love that. And last thing, Alec, just what brings you to PhillyCon? What are you going to be chatting about in your presentation coming up?
Yeah, I'm really honored to be here. I think this is a long time in the making. I think this is something, this conference, bringing everybody together. I don't know why it hasn't happened before. It's like now that it's occurring, it's like, oh, it's such a duh thing, but it's so cool to see everybody come together. I'm presenting a lecture and a workshop. So my lecture is on the inclusion illusion, which is a paradox that occurs in CrossFit gyms primarily and other places that are typically thought to be very inclusive. So we have this belief that CrossFit is for anybody, but it may not be for everybody. Everybody has to train hard, and anybody can come train in our gyms. But if we're not taking actionable steps to make our gyms inclusive, specifically to people with disabilities, as we talked about before, about creating a culture and representation, continuing education for our trainers and staff, then we may not be taking the actionable steps to truly make it inclusive. And really thinking we're inclusive without taking actionable steps may actually make us less inclusive because we're not taking those actionable steps. So we can do that as a community. We can be more inclusive. We just take some actionable steps to add and be an accessible place, safe and effective place for people with disabilities. And then the second one is adapting programming. So
Nice.
I love doing that. It's taking a deeper dive into the stimulus of exercises and workouts as a whole and really understanding why you're programming that. Adaptive Training Academy and our education, we've developed 4 methods for adapting, and it lets you look at exercises in different ways. So maybe the task accomplishment of it, like what does a squat really do for anybody? It's just moving your body mass up and down a long distance, either weighted or unweighted. So can we apply that methodology and thought to somebody in a wheelchair who can't use their legs? We're like, yes, they still need to move their body mass up and down every day. They're no longer going to use their legs if they have a full spinal cord injury. They're going to use their arms. So we're going to do something like a dip or a push-up or even like a heavy pull in replace of like a squat for their functionality of doing that. And we have 3 other methods go along with it to help you really think about and become a better coach at applying customization, I'll say, to any exercise and workout as a whole for anybody in your class. Obviously, we call it adapting, but it really just makes you a better coach for customizing and understanding the stimulus and why you're doing those exercises.
I love it. It kind of sounds like you're taking that stimulus, going back to first principles with it. And then once you have that lens, you can apply it to a variety of different types of athletes, regardless of what they might be presenting from a disability perspective.
For sure.
Well, we love the message, man. Thank you so much,
Appreciate it.
Alec.
Thanks for your time.
Pleasure to meet you, I should say. Thanks for being here, and looking forward to your presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Alec.
Thanks.